Elon Musk hopped on the latest episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, and well, it was a special one. As you can see, the boys were just down there, I don't know, doing dress up for Halloween or some shit like that. You got Joe Rogan in a World Baseball Championship Puerto Rican jersey, I don't know, dressed up as Kaneko puts it, Megyn Kelly, which is absolutely hilarious. I despise Megyn Kelly and her stupid ass takes, but no, they're just sitting back having a smoke as they do, and probably the most famous moment in Joe Rogan podcast history was Elon Musk smoking that joint impromptu. I think so. I would think so. No, man, they went down there and had a conversation. I'm not going to lie to you by saying that I listened to any of that. It's been a long old time since I sat down and listened to a full episode of Joe Rogan. I can probably count on two fingers the number of podcasts I've listened to him put on since he orchestrated the Spotify deal. But there are a couple of interesting tidbits that have come out from said conversation, most of it having to do around Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter. Well, now, as we all know and tolerate it as X, and well, an interesting thing, an interesting little tidbit that everybody kind of knew at the time, but to actually have it down in writing, well, it's pretty important to point out. Musk tells Rogan Twitter suppressed Republicans 10 times more than Democrats. Yeah, we kind of knew that. Kind of had a feeling on that one, but to just have it confirmed, yeah, it totally makes sense, okay? And it's nice to see. Elon Musk said that conservative users of X, formerly Twitter, I'm about done with seeing that, okay? Call it X now from time being, okay? It's been what, like how many months since they made the official name change? It's X. It's X. Just move on. Were suppressed 10 times the rate of liberals prior to him taking over the company. Yeah, even as somebody who just kind of had a burner account because, simply using it for news aggregation purposes, not interacting with anybody's posts, just simply looking and searching for the hot and trending news topics, you could see who was getting more interaction on their tweets, whose were popping up in said feeds more than anybody else. And yeah, no, it tended to be the people that skewed more politically correct, tended to be the people that skewed more on the Democratic side of life, on the liberal side of life, the progressive side of life. Those were the news issues that were pushed and promoted in your what's happening, trending feed. Yeah, no, of course, like it all checks out. It all passes the logic test. Musk, the platform's CEO, obtained X in October of 2022. Really? Huh. It was only last year he became the official boss. Interesting. Huh. And quickly made headlines after signing off on a series of reports published by independent journalist Matt Taibbi. Oh, right, yeah, in late 2022, nicknamed the Twitter Files. Boy, there were so many fun things that came out on that. Then it just kind of petered off. But no, discovering how many alphabet agencies had backdoor access, into the social media platform was fairly revelatory. The fact that they, ended up helping assist the ultimate result of the 2020 election was also fairly startling, but none of those things are really all that surprising when you can connect the dots. Taibbi's work purportedly showed that the platform's previous ownership, led by Twitter's founder and previous CEO, Jack Dorsey, had worked with the federal government to censor conservatives and Republican content online. Speaking with podcasts, that's kind of demeaning to just simply say that Joe Rogan's a podcaster. It's like saying Bruce Lee is a fighter. Or Mike Tyson has a mean left hook. Musk described Twitter as once acting as an arm of the government and claimed that Dorsey didn't really know that such actions were taking place. I believe that. Obviously, everything was happening under his auspices, and he's ultimately responsible for everything that happens during his time as CEO. But him knowing the day-to-day operations, what everybody was doing out there in his bloated business, yeah, I understand that he didn't know everything that was happening, and whenever you hear the guy talk, he always just seemed like he was at least 6 degrees removed from reality. So yeah, I would believe that 100%. The degree to which, by the way, Jack didn't really know this, but the degree to which Twitter was simply an arm of the government was not well understood by the public, Musk told Rogan, according to a clip on Tuesday's episode of the JRE that was shared on X by the group Myth-Informed. Yes, they've been doing very good reporting for a very long time. Think of old Twitter as a state publication. Yeah, that's not far-fetched at all. Musk went on to claim that the old version of the social media platform would not only oppress views considered far-right, but also that Oh, some that may be considered middle of the road or mildly right. Yeah, that's why at this point in time, whenever anybody sees anything that's labeled as far right, alt right, ultra mega, whatever the hell you want to call it, left or right leaning, we know that these descriptions mean absolutely nothing. And the fact that important definitions like that have no concrete definition, well, that's kind of a problem. But then that also just shows the amount of subversion that has happened in our day-to-day lexicon. Results in, well, okay, these same opinions would both be grouped together. Your typical libertarian and your 1930s Italian fascist would both be put under the far-right misnomer because, well, guess what? Anything that is just a little politically right of Chairman Mao is all regressive to the progressive charge. I think we all understand that. Republicans were suppressed 10 times the rate of Democrats. How do you even quantify that? Now, that's because old Twitter was fundamentally controlled by the far left. Yeah, I would say so. What do you mean by far left? Well, take a look at anybody that they've ever interviewed that used to work for old Jack Dorsey's Twitter. Those are far left ideologues. Those are your Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren supporters. Those are your purple and pink haired weirdos with more piercings than personality traits. Those are what you would define as far left individuals. Progressives, leftists, whatever. That's that group. Verifiably so. It was like completely controlled by the far left. Musk and his allies have repeatedly amplified claims of the U.S. government worked to censor stories involving the 2020 New York Post article concerning Hunter Biden's laptop. No, it's all Russian disinformation. 45 or 54 former heads of intelligence agencies signed off on that report that was in fact all whatever is information, and you're a goddamn liar if you say that has anything to do with Hunter. But other part of the Twitter files reported that Twitter officials, with some help of the federal government, could actively monitor posts by former President Donald Trump and the officials that contained baseless information regarding voting procedures and claims of voter fraud. Oh yeah, and eventually coming to the realization that, oh yeah, wow, have you seen that laptop that repair guy in Delaware has? Wow, it used to be owned by the president's son. Weird. Attorneys for Twitter have contested the assertion that the company's once close relationship with the FBI amounted to the government coercion and censorship. CNN Business reported in June, Republicans on the House Oversight Committee also called a number of former Twitter employees to testify in February about the Hunter Biden laptop story, which came out shortly before the 2020 presidential election. The hearing did not amount to new evidence of government censorship on the social platform. No, of course not, because they didn't press very hard. But we held the hearings, guys. Make sure to vote for us again. In a blog post in April by X's safety division, the platform said that Twitter 2.0 would be focused on promoting and protecting public conversation, stating that users would have the right to express their opinions and ideas without fear of censorship, which is hilarious because we also seen the proclivities of, well, isn't Elon Musk the chairman, or, well, he's the owner at least of X, but Linda Yaccarino out there playing footsie with the same type of people that turned Twitter into the left-wing echo chamber that it once was, working on new hate speech guidelines with the likes of the ADL, SPLC, the ACLU, all of those quasi-commie organizations that think that freedom of speech is more like a guideline and we should probably enforce proper hate speech protections because my feelings could end up getting hurt. Or you might end up offending dem boys. I don't have a bell around here, but I think you know what I mean. So yeah, Elon Musk might have good intentions. He's out there saying the right things, talking about the right problems, but when it's all said and done, he's also outsourcing responsibilities to people that don't quite hold his same opinions as closely to heart as he does. But if he can get the broad swaths correct, well, it'll definitely be a better platform than it once was. And as it stands right now, I got some big problems with Twitter, mostly because, well, X, formerly known as Twitter. But no, there's some problems, right? Like whenever you get like a bigger, more viral tweet, or just the amount of engagement farming that's on the platform is absolutely absurd. But even still, if you want to interact with a, certain post that's out there, people that just immediately pay for their check mark, they just get rocketed to the top. And if I see any more people just posting emojis with priority, it just completely and totally detracts for the conversation at large. But it's one of the best communication apps, and what Elon Musk is doing with the video calls, the audio calls, getting integrated there as well. The video player being, if it had some better encoding. It had some quality options that are in it. That'd be fantastic. But as it sits right now, it's a hell of a lot better than it was this time last year. I can definitely confirm that, but we'll have to see, because we're going to be in for a big test, especially with 2024 about to rear its ugly, censorious head. Because, yeah, we've all been here before, but I'm kind of thinking that 2024, it's probably going to be one of the worst ones. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.